Hello, everyone. Benjamin Lindsay here, managing editor at Backstage. We are going to be sitting with Camilla Luddington, one of the many stars of Grey's Anatomy, now in its 17th season. It's absolutely bonkers that that show has been around for so long. But really can't wait to speak with her about her experience on the show. Obviously, production right now is looking a bit different than it has for the last few years under the COVID-19 pandemic. So going to be discussing her experience, just what this season has been like to be filming, and then really get down to her roots of how she became an actor in the first place and the journey that led her to playing Dr. Joe on this hit ABC medical drama. So I will give it just a couple minutes here, going to check to see if Camilla's here, and I already have a request from her. So perfect. You are, and just invited you to join, and we can get the show on the road.
Hi.
Hey there, how are you?
Hi. This is my first Instagram Live.
It's your first. All right. Well, I'm happy to be your first. Yeah. I'm Ben Lindsay from Backstage. It's so great that you could join us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. Now, I know that you are in the midst of production for season 17. What is that? First of all, congratulations on a great premiere, and everything is off to a running start, of course, as always in Grey's Anatomy. But what's it been like to be bringing this character to the screen, particularly during these times?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that we're so thankful to be back, because there was a period of time where we thought that maybe it wasn't going to happen. We were hoping to come back in August, and then that got pushed, and then in September. So we're happy to be back and filming. I am excited to be experiencing the pandemic in a different way. Maybe excited isn't the word, but I'm interested to be experiencing the pandemic in a different way through the show, being a frontline worker. It's definitely a wild season. It's definitely different. And what is interesting is that behind the scenes is just as different as in front of the camera for us, because obviously we have our new Disney protocols keeping us safe. But I'm happy to be telling this story, and I think we're all just really thankful that we're able to get this story out this season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that the nearly 3,000 people tuning in right now, hello everyone, is equally excited to see this story being brought to the screen, and thankful that you and the Grey's Anatomy folks are the ones telling it. It's definitely, the show's always been an escape, but the fact that it's able to mirror our current circumstances is all the more significant. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you've been with this show since 2000.
100 years.
Yeah, thereabouts. This character, Dr. Joe, she's given you so much to play with over the years. Just reflecting on it, what's been the most gratifying aspect of getting to live with this character for years at a time at this point?
I think one of the most exciting things about working on the show is that we really don't know everything about our characters. So every season, it's really exciting playing a character that every season you learn something new about. Like, I didn't know that she was married. I didn't, before. An abusive relationship. I didn't even know that she was homeless until I think episode 8 maybe of my first season. So I feel like we're constantly learning new exciting things about our character. And also, when you sit with a character for this long, you get to be on a journey of growth with them. You go through their heartbreak and their pain and their happiness and their wins and their loses, and that's really amazing.
Do you feel, I'm sure that it's the process, quote unquote, of getting into this character's skin has become easier over the years. She's a little closer to you now that you know her as well as you. But from the get, do you feel like playing her came with ease? Was it a natural fit, or what was the process to really build the character from the ground up?
It's interesting, because I think that because I didn't know much about her, I look back and actually wish I'd played her differently in like the early seasons. I wish I'd had like information about her in that scene that I have now, because I would have like done it differently. But that's not how it works, obviously.
Right.
So I think as the character's grown and been more fleshed out, I've had a better understanding of where she's coming from. So I think that, you step into a character and you sort of have to bring your own, all the hearts, so cute. You have to bring all of your own backstory, kind of, because you're not given one. And then as that changes with the show, you change with the character. So
Yeah.
I think that, yes, what's interesting is when we first started the show, we said, we wanted to find out about our characters, and they kind of said, we're going to write according to your personalities. So there's something that everyone brings to the table that then gets incorporated in their character. So I do think it's a right fit in that regard, but you do grow with the character.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really is kind of a dream gig for an actor to land on a show as renowned as Grey's Anatomy, to build a character that is as loved as Dr. Joe is in this series. To rewind a bit, Backstage, we're all about the working actors of the world, the early career performers, creators. Yeah. How is it that the performing arts first started playing a role in your life? And then what was the shift to actually pursuing it professionally? What did that journey look like for you?
Yeah, so this sounds crazy. I was 4 years old when I knew I wanted to be an actress. And I watched The Wizard of Oz, and I understood that was Judy Garland playing Dorothy. And I didn't want to be Dorothy, I wanted to be Judy Garland. And so I was just a kid that watched a lot of musicals, watched Annie, used to wear my English school uniform and jump on the bed and sing a high five.
Yeah.
I did my first talent show when I was 5. I sung a Dolly Parton song.
Do you recall the song?
Yeah, it's called Me and Little Andy. I don't know if people will necessarily know about it. It's really sad. It's about girls.
I'm a Dolly fan.
Okay. So, and I won the show Star Quality. Obviously, I won that little talent show when I was 5. And then I auditioned for a school in England called Italia Conti. Mm-hmm. And I was 11. And then I was 12 when I got my first agent. And so I was just sort of more working in theater when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I was going to I wanted to go to RADA. That was my dream. And I did not get into RADA. Okay. And so I was like frustrated, but I'd been studying theater for so long that I thought, I don't really know what being in front of the camera is going to be like. That's a different medium, right? That's a different technique. And so I ended up signing up for the New York Film Academy in New York's first 1-year acting for film program. Mm-hmm. I did that, and then I moved to LA and got my agent, and thankfully started working. So that sort of was my journey to being where I am today.
Yeah. I mean, you had that theater training from early on, but I feel like the shift to on camera, getting that foundational training at the New York Film Academy must have been pretty necessary to what you're doing today. It is a different muscle.
It's really different. I remember, in theater, you're like, hello, you're like, yeah. And then I remember thinking like, oh, I can do this. And, going to my first film class, and then we would watch back on camera, the work we'd done. And I was like, I'm terrible. Like, I'm really bad I got to figure this out. And so yeah. I really studied for that year and kind of honed that, because I wasn't realizing, how intimate this is on camera, how much I pick up, and it's just different to theater.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I do find it pretty interesting that I know growing up that you spent time between the States and the UK, and then you mentioned this Italian school that you went to. You are very well traveled and experienced different cultures. Do you feel like you take kind of those experiences to your acting? Does that inform what you're doing at all as a performer?
I think so. I think that honestly, no matter if you're well traveled or not, I just think that your own life, the ups and downs in your own life, that the highs and the lows, and sometimes really the lows, kind of make you a better actor, because there's a lot of moments when whatever character you're playing kind of crashes and hits that rock bottom. And, it's, I think pulling on your own life, that's the way, I was taught Meisner method acting. Mm-hmm. To pull it on your own life experiences really helps me. So when Jo was, for example, she had the episode where she met her mom for the first time. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene that was like 14 pages long of me across from my mother. And I lost my mom when I was 19. And so in order to really connect and like feel that pain and understand like sort of what she was going through, was put it in terms of like being able to sit with my mom and like what would that be like if I hadn't seen her for a long time, and to be able to tell her that I needed her. So
Yeah.
those are the things that, more than being well traveled or living here or there, I just think your real life you can tap into it as an actor.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your own experience and your physical body is the vessel to what you're doing
Yeah.
on camera and stage. So you're, of course, bringing yourself to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be a powerful experience when you can connect the dots in that way.
It is powerful, and it can be painful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I find it hard to shake, you know.
Well, you mentioned that you moved to Los Angeles after getting this training at New York Film Academy, and I had read that you met your husband while waitressing in LA.
I did.
So it wasn't from the get that you were booking work. You had some survival jobs along the way.
No, I was very broke for a long time. I definitely found my first roommate on Craigslist and shared a bedroom with her. Thank God she wasn't like a crazy person. No, I, you know, had to support myself during those years, and it takes a long time. What people don't realize is that you can be recurring on a show and you can kind of save up a little bit of money, but it's not enough to quit necessarily your day job. And so there's a lot of times when you're, you know, working, like for example, when I was working on Californication, I think I was still waitressing here and there, like picking up a shift here and there, because the assumption as an actor always, if you're like me, is I don't know if I'm going to ever work again. And so, no, we met each other. He was a bartender and I was waiting tables, and that's how we met each other a long time ago. This is like, oh my God, 13 or 14 years, something like that, years ago. But it's actually nice to relate to him because he works on different shows too. He's working on Snowfall too. And it's kind of nice to actually come up together in the industry that way. Because the old days, yeah,
you were on the even playing ground from the very beginning, and now obviously both of you have your own careers. It's great.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, in addition to Grace, I would also love to touch on your experience in the voiceover space. I'm sure a lot of the people joining us today are also familiar with your work in Tomb Raider. You've done voiceover on various programs, various projects. How did that kind of start for you? And is this something that you always pursued? I feel like it's not necessarily a path that you set yourself on right away.
It's not something that I actually remotely thought about, to be honest. I remember getting an audition in. It was one of my first auditions with my agent, and it said something like, it didn't say video game. It said like interactive something or other. And I remember thinking, oh, this is just some ridiculous project that's like clearly some weird indie something.
Sure.
And I remember going, and then kind of when I was outside, I remember hearing, okay, it's a video game, and I remember thinking like, it's kind of like Lara Croft. And so I even dressed kind of like her. And then I went, and it was a video diary to the screen, because in the first game, Lara is keeping a diary. So that was my audition. And then they wanted to see just how your body moved. And then that was it. And then I actually almost didn't make the callback for it. And it came down to 3 girls, and I gave myself a concussion on my waitress job.
Wow. Right.
I was bringing plates into the kitchen, and I lifted my head up and I hit it on a shelf, and I was like, I have a concussion, I cannot go. And I remember the casting director telling my agent, they really want her. She needs to come back if she wants the gig. And so I almost did not play Lara Croft.
Wow.
And I'm so glad that I came back and then got cast. But that's how I got into voiceover, and now I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you are beloved in the Tomb Raider franchise at this point. That's so funny that you almost missed that callback. I had also read that you almost missed the Grey's Anatomy callback.
I did.
On for.
So I almost missed that because of Tomb Raider. I was at Comic-Con when that happened.
Yeah.
So I had met. So I knew Shonda because she had a pilot back in the day that spring before I started Grey's, called Gilded Lilies. And I tested for it. When what that means, if people don't know watching, is that it means that you're coming down to like the last 2 people. So so I tested for the network for ABC, and I didn't get it. It was me and another girl, and I didn't get it. And then I ended up in True Blood. And then as True Blood finished that weekend, I had to go to Comic-Con. And my agent had said to me, I was at Comic-Con on a Friday. My agent had said to me, it's such a shame because Shonda really wants you to audition for a new intern class for Grey's Anatomy. And all of the auditions were on Friday. And I was in San Diego. So I was like, okay, well, it's not meant to be. And then on the Saturday, I heard that she hadn't found who she had wanted.
Yeah.
There's 5 girls in on the Monday. And so I was doing Comic-Con and quickly learning like doctor dialogue. And then went in on the Monday, heard on Wednesday that I had it. It was me. It was between me and another girl in New York, apparently. And I got it on the Wednesday, and then I started work on the Friday.
Wow. You never know how one thing will lead to the next. And
never. Yeah, never.
So when it comes down to it, these are 2 pretty significant audition experiences in your career.
Yeah.
What's your number 1 piece of audition advice for our audience today?
It's really hard. I think this is the hardest thing to feel, but to feel equal to a casting director for me took me a long time. To walk in and feel like they're doing their job, I'm doing mine, let's just go in and have fun, and not feel like, oh my God, that's casting, and like walking very intimidated. It took me a long time to just be like, they're a person doing their job. You know, like I can go in, I can play in the room. You have to almost convince yourself that you don't need the job, is what I have felt like. Because if I feel like, oh my God, I really want this really bad, then my nerves start.
Yeah.
To go in and feel like I'm playing and that this person goes to the grocery store and they have a normal life and they're not like, you know, because I found casting directors very intimidating when I was first starting out.
But they are on your side. They are normal people.
Exactly. And I know that sounds crazy to feel like, but when you're an actor and you're walking in and you really do want the job, it feels like their fate is in their hands. And so there's a little bit of a power play there that I feel like if you can kind of get rid of and just feel like they're a normal person, let's have fun and walk out the room, you know, and just feel that way about it. But it's really difficult to do. It's taken me a long, long time to feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you only learned that experience, you gained that wisdom through years of experience. So it makes sense.
Over and over. Yeah. You almost become a little bit desensitized to the nervousness of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as a final question, I know we're taking a bit of a walk down memory lane here, but let's bring us back up to Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
Season 17, as I said, we're off to a running start with this one, but just generally speaking, what are you most excited about for audience to get their eyes on this season? What's not necessarily what's around the corner? You can't give us any spoilers, of course, but what are you most looking forward to?
Jo has a big revelation about her career this season. This is the first time I'm saying this.
Okay.
And that has been, I was really kind of surprised by it, and I'm really excited to play it. It's a shift. And I know I see Jo and Jackson, so I'll talk about that too, since people keep asking me. Jo and Jackson Jovery, you're going to see a little bit more of a friendship develop next episode between them.
All right.
And have scenes together because people have been asking about that.
Excellent. Well, I'm really excited to see where it all goes. Congrats on the season. Glad to see that you're staying well through all the state of the world and staying working. Yeah, this has been great to get to know you a bit.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for joining us for this. I'm Ben, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, bye.